All right, hello my beautiful people. Welcome back to Alchemy Divine 333. I miss you guys. Sorry I haven't been here. It's one of those days, it's one of those things where, you know, the system is not treating everybody equally. So all those who speak the truth, clarity, and justice, there is a cost for our, you know, and we're gonna continue doing it. It's just that I want to make that clear for a lot of y'all that a lot of things are happening in the background. I have to acquire another job now to be able to sustain. I got scammed by, and I guess it's a normal thing until no more landlords exist and we all be able to own our own houses, right? So I'll still continue advocating, but until then I have to deal with this nasty ass corrupt landlord. So that too, it wasn't what I was originally said that this was afforded, could not afford. So now thank you so much guys for donations. If you wanted me to show up here more, my donation link is there. I'm probably gonna start opening personal readings, but not yet. So don't let people scam me, okay? I will let you guys know through my YouTube on my posts. By the way, guys, you can look at my posts and also my playlist. I have Truth, Clarity, and Justice playlists and stuff like that for you guys to see. Please continue checking my Telegram. I'll try to update as much as I can, but again, I have to find another source of income to be able to afford this and my car and everything else. Yes, I am an anomaly for the system. They still don't understand how. And I know for a lot of you, if you're a single parent and if you have one kid, but if you have 2, 3, or 4, you are an anomaly, especially if you're an advocate, you speak the truth and you want justice, you want affordable housing, you want affordable healthcare, you want better education, you want decolonization, you want the end of the status quo bullshit. So yeah, you are a threat. So that's why I'm here to let you guys know. Thank you so much for your support, liking, sharing, and stuff like that, because I am heavily suppressed. YouTube doesn't like me very much. They took away my monetization and stuff. Anything financially, they are attacking us through that, right? So as long as we continue living in this and speaking up and stuff like that. So this is what I was saying in the book that I'm reading right now, Imperialism by Lenin. Literally every time like I'm reading it, it feels like I'm reading today, like what we're going through, all of us today. Is the decay of capitalism is fascism, right? And now Canadian thinks that they're gonna be, you know, scattered. They're gonna continue doing their abuse, you know, hidden, because that's it. Canada is the same thing as USA, except that USA is louder. People are more protesting in your face and stuff like that, and the censorship is insane. But here is even more. Okay, so a lot of pedos are here in Canada hiding, Nazis and stuff like that, fascists, right? They come here. They're not in the US. They're here. This is why they own all the companies, supermarkets, and stuff like that. Everything has been violated for a lot of you. So when capitalists fall and the empire falls in the USA, Canada is going with it.
Israel wants Canada to change the way it deals with anti-Semitism, and it's only going to make anti-Semitism worse. The main problem they have isn't anti-Semitism, it's anti-Zionism. It's why they were more outraged by Al-Quds Day instead of the literal neo-Nazi rally in Niagara led by people who say things like the Nazis were right. If you don't know what Zionism is, it's basically an ideology that wants a Jewish ethno-state. Or in other words, and I know this is going to sound insane, basically they're Nazis for Jews. But back to what I was saying. They want to blur the lines between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism because there are actually valid reasons to criticize Israel. For a long time, calling any anti-Zionist voice anti-Semitic was enough to silence dissent. The narrative they created was that Israel was the country that represented all Jews, and an attack on Israel was an attack on Jewish people as a whole. And that worked to deflect criticism for a while. But as Israel's live stream genocide continues and people are rightfully disgusted by it, the term anti-Semitism has lost almost all meaning and impact. And even worse, a lot of people went, if being against this is anti-Semitic, then I guess I'm anti-Semitic. And that's really dangerous. Because when they suppress anti-Zionist perspectives in the media, that leaves space for actual anti-Semites to fill in the demand for an anti-Israel perspective. Because they definitely hate Israel because they hate Jews more. They don't give a shit about the Palestinians. It's why people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes have exploded in popularity, not just on the right side of social media, but in general. I know people in my life who are decently liberal that follow Candace Owens, the same Candace Owens that said,
Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well. Okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside.
Candace, I think there was a much bigger problem with Hitler because they hook in audiences with their basic anti-Israel talking points and slowly over time drop in anti-Semitic ideas. It starts off with something very basic like, isn't it weird how much the Israel lobby has influence in our politics? But then after a while it becomes, the Jews control everything and they want to destroy our country so they can turn us all into goy cattle. And when Zionists try to suppress valid criticism of Israel, it only plays into anti-Semitic narratives. You want to know what the saddest part about this is? All of this causes people to forget about the real victims of Israel and Zionism. The Palestinians, the Lebanese, and many more. We have to remember why we stand against Israel in the first place. F Israel and free Palestine.
Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Right here. Look at this fucking shit. You see that shit? Yeah. So the other day I was and Spirit guided me to go on a live for an indigenous media, and it was horrific. It was like, wow, these people are violent, like, but just in their mouth, you know, their mouth. There's a lot of racist people here. This is why enable this and keeping this in the quiet and put it under the rug, and a lot of you enabling abuse or not speaking up about this. This is why they feel so emboldened doing stuff, okay? Others of you, they're panicking. The oligarchs and billionaires, they're panicking because and there's a heavy surveillance, so was my confirmation, because I was like, I always feel like I'm watched or something, and that's why I don't want to be showing my face and stuff like that. Like, I want to continue doing things like my reading and healing and stuff like that. But that too, now the whole like AI is taking your videos and shit like that and turn it in. And we saw that when they did that for Francesca. Remember, guys, when it's on my Telegram if you want, it's on my pin, when she talked about what was going on, and then they alter her video, and then they posted another video that it wasn't like her. Like, you can see the difference, and it's fucked up, because I was like, okay, so now they're distorting the truth to the point where they literally take your videos and make it so they are like, you are the bad guy or something like that. It's really weird, like these sick, vile energy. So that too, like what I was saying, there needs to be anti-racist laws everywhere in the world, because these people have no fucking morals, or they don't have self-control and stuff like that, and we all have to like swallow it up and deal with it, right? Because most of these people, you know, are in places of like finances, banking, housing. Like, most of these landlords here are buying lots of buildings that should be given to the working class, the people. Like, how is it that 22% of homelessness just rise in this year? Meanwhile, all these people are getting like, and then the increase of like, it's abused to the point where like, anyways, Spirit just wants me advocated for this and talk about this, but I have to go doing double shifts today. But I wanted to stop by and tell you guys what's going on. Please check out my Telegram. I'll try to update as much as I can. I'm gonna start doing lives like randomly like that, and I can't announce it. Like Spirit said, I cannot, because I'm heavily surveillance. There's heavily surveillance everywhere. Especially those who are truth tellers, advocates, and stuff like that. And not that out of fear, it's just that protection, right? And also, Spirit is working things behind the scenes before I show up, so I have to constantly be on guard and listening. So just as like the attack, the surveillance heavily, then this is why the protection gets a little more higher. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Just subscribe, follow, and you'll get a notification when I'm live, so you'll know when I'm live, okay? If you want to know, right? So you'll have access to that. Please help the people in my Linktree, sign petitions. There's families there that need our help. They're still dealing with stuff. Don't believe in the bullshit ceasefires. Spirit keeps saying that those just to buy time to the enemy. Like this, he's trying to delay it and trying to buy time to continue murdering. These people are psychopathic, and this is why there needs to be sanctioned for Israel in USA, and there needs to be laws here in Canada that protects working class. No techno, bro, small digs, no AI, data centers, none of that. Keep advocating for that, okay? All of you who are doing the right thing for the right people and demanding that your salary, keep going, you're worth it, okay? A lot of us, that's what we have to do too. It's like, wait, I'm worth it. I'm a good caregiver. I do what I gotta do. I have so much that I got going on, and I have also to do here, but demanding and affordable, because a lot of us, we are underpaid, right? So this is why we have to rely on 3 to 4 jobs. And that's not it. Like, it's supposed to be one job that pays your rent, your car, or your transportation. If you don't have a car, you don't want a car. Some people don't, and that's okay. Me, I just got it on necessity because my 2 kids, like I want them to get to places safe and stuff like that. I have girls, and let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about it, right? Because a lot of us, we have to do a lot of things to protect our children from predators. Pedophiles that we know that come in and go, especially here in Canada. There's no restriction for pedos. They just come and go. I mean, their own prime minister is just like, yeah. So out of safety and stuff like that, finances is, a lot of people is like, oh, finances is like, it's not all happiness. No, it's not happiness at all. It's just safety. For a lot of us, it's protection. For a lot of us, it's paying fines, that unjust fines or injustice going on in the background to silence us, to keep us stuck, to make us not say what we need to say. And a lot of you, your experiences and the stuff that you survive is literally ammunition for other people to survive too. So they want you to stop doing that. Don't stop doing that.
May those that choose to be brave and speak up always be covered. You're protected in this realm and in the next by sacred mothers. The people hold the power now in morals and in numbers. May those monsters never see another night of restful slumber.
Probably the thing that radicalized me the most and allowed me to deconstruct the farthest out of Zionism is the sober realization that Israelis are sexually attracted to annihilating Palestinians and sacrificing themselves and their sons and daughters on the altar of nationalism. This death penalty is not a bunch of right-wing crazies who control the Israeli government. This is the pinnacle of what all Israelis want and desire. Israelis were not tricked or brainwashed into Zionism. If that was the case, being faced with the reality, being faced with alternative information would change their mind, but that never works. The reality is that they want this fascism. They know exactly what's happening in Gaza, they know exactly what's happening in the West Bank, and they want it. They desire it. Left, right, center, it doesn't matter. Anyone but people who want to completely and utterly do away with the state of Israel and have a free Palestine from the river to the sea, have a sexual attraction and experience bodily pleasure from annihilating Palestinians. And there is nothing that anybody can tell me that can convince me otherwise. This is not a moral argument. This is not about identity. This is about the most material analysis that you can find. It is how societies, material conditions, political and economic situations inscribe unconscious impulses on our bodies towards power, towards domination, towards consumption, and towards revolution, emancipation. What we need to aim towards is not more electoral politics, is not more identity politics. What we need is to go and build alternative infrastructure, new ways of interacting with each other and relating with each other, new social spaces and cultural spaces, new systems of alternative care to replace capitalism and its logics and premises, destroying the whole project of nation states and neoliberalism and the United States empire, giving all land back to indigenous people, sovereignty. Because if we don't do that, The same unconscious impulses that drive humans towards the same things are going to keep replicating themselves and always end up in fascism. That is the thing we need to work towards. This death penalty is nothing. It's exactly the same policies and the same actions that have been going on and underway for 100 years. And way before that, when unwashed Europeans have murdered millions and millions and millions of native people in America, enslaved people from Africa, and started decimating the Middle East. And what we need is to actually build material alternatives that generate different subjectivities, that inscribe different impulses and create different human beings. Just something to think about. As always, much love and free Palestine.
Don't leftists know they have to persuade people to join them? Why are they so mean? Well, I'm a leftist and I'm going to try and explain this to you without being mean. You know how the right wing tricks people into their ideology by feeding them little bits of extremism at a time? You start with your favorite lifestyle or sports influencer, and then you move to Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly and then Ben Shapiro, and before you know it, you're with the Groypers and the femcells. Their whole scheme is the pipeline, where they feed you bigger and bigger lies as you go. The left is the exact opposite of that. The left gives you the radical truth up front. And the problem is, people don't know what the fuck it means. And that's not my fault. That's not your fault. We all grew up in the same system. We were taught the same things. And none of those things included leftism. And leftists can tell you the truth, that our society is spiraling and that we're not going to have the society we want unless we defeat capitalism, white supremacy, and the patriarchy. But the problem is, I have done that and I have watched people's eyes glaze over as the truth flies over their head. So when the liberals walking down the street, they're thinking to themselves, this is the way the world works. This is reality. We got to vote in elections. We got to participate in the system. This is just the way things are. Leftist bumps into you and says, the reason things are the way they are is because you're not changing the way you think or do things. And the liberal says, you're unrealistic. And the leftist says, the planet is burning and we're all going to die. For the love of God, please. So what people often interpret as meanness is actually urgency. At least some of the time. Some of the time, it's actually meanness. Because sometimes leftists encounter honest-to-God liars. They're often Democrats who trick people of good conscience to stay within the system and tell them that the way we fix things is to keep doing things the way we've always done them. So it pisses us off. Because we know that if enough people woke up to reality, they would realize that they could change it. But they might need to read a book.
I like the way you kiss it. I can tell you miss it. I can tell it this. Not trying to be romantic. I'll hit it from the back just so you don't get attached.
Okay, so let's get into who actually runs the No Kings protests. The No Kings protests are organized by the Indivisible Project, which is ran by these two, Ezra Levin and Leah Greenberg, whom, although have criticized Israel before, ultimately still support the existence and maintenance of Israel as a state and a Jewish state, and have said and say things like Hamas is a T organization that does not care about the D of Palestinians bombing civilians, blah, 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 saying that Hamas celebrates the sacrifice of civilians as recruitment opportunities for their cause. If we could press a button to eliminate every Hamas fighter, I'd support it. Also framing what's going on with Israel as Netanyahu's doing and not a product of the Israeli society and Israeli regime. Again, write a blank check to Netanyahu's government. It's like, this was literally the easiest thing to find. The people who are like, oh, where'd you get your information from? Where's your source? Like, oh, I looked this up for 20 minutes and didn't find anything. I don't know what Google, what internet you're using, but yeah, if these are the people you trust to lead the No Kings protests and lead resistance, people who are lockstep with establishment Democrats, Zionists who support the state of Israel and cannot assign blame for what's going on in Gaza and Palestine to where it actually needs to be, which is the entire Israeli government and Israeli society and Israel as a supremacist, apartheid, genocidal state, I don't know what to tell you.
This is an oil tanker. And the thing to know about an oil tanker is that it's really, really big. 4 soccer fields long, carries 2 or 3 million barrels of oil, and it weighs more than a skyscraper. All of which makes it slow, 10 or 15 knots. That is, no joke, the speed of a bicycle. Our global energy supply lines move at the speed of a Schwinn. And let me show you on this globe why that's important. If you biked all day, how much of this globe do you think you could cross? Like maybe the width of the point of this pen, right? Maybe. You worked really hard. Okay, now imagine hopping on your 12 speed starting in Dubai. Where's Dubai? Here we go. Starting in Dubai. And now imagine that you have to bike out of Dubai all the way down here, down the coast of Africa, down, across the Cape of Good Hope, back up the other coast of Africa, all the way across the Atlantic, through the Caribbean, before finally arriving at the deepwater oil port in Louisiana. That would take forever on a bike, right? Which, remember, is the speed that these oil tankers go. Like, that is how our oil travels, as if it were on a bike. And maybe you see where I'm going with this. This is a map of global oil flows put together by JP Morgan. Don't worry about all this text, we'll explain it in a minute. These red lines show the oil coming out of the Middle East, going out to the rest of the world. This is the stuff that's been cut off. Here it is back in December before the war. There it goes, the oil is flowing. But remember, it moves at the speed of a bunch of bicycles. So now it's January, and the oil is just finally reaching parts of Asia and Europe. And we're into February before it hits the US, and then it hits refineries in South Korea that then sends it on down these pink lines to Australia and New Zealand. So when the war starts and the oil stops flowing, there's actually still a ton out there, taking its long, lazy little bike ride around the globe. That's a big part of why things seem weirdly normal. For most countries, the oil shutdown has not reached us yet. We're still getting shipments that were sent out before the war started. So when do those shipments stop? If you look at that map again, it says most deliveries to the US will stop around April 15th. In Europe, they stop around April 10th. Asia, April 1st, so it's just getting started. But here in parts of Africa, it was March 20th. We're already well into it. And that's even hitting places like the US, where we are still receiving oil from before the war started. Countries whose shipments ran out are creating this big surge in demand. So anytime you go to the pump or pay your power bill, you are bidding against them and they are bidding against you. And all of this is going to get significantly worse when China and Europe start running out of shipments too and surge demand to replace it, which is really close to happening.
Normally I try to avoid call-out posts, unless it's a politician, corporation, billionaire, or some other member or puppet member of the ruling class. However, when I see Western leftists using their influence to configure a narrative that manufactures consent for empire, I suspend that rule and say the thing that needs to be said, despite being well aware that it's going to ruffle the feathers of these imperialist leftists and their largely liberal audiences. But today I'm coming with screenshots. Let's start here. This post says, "You don't get to call yourself anti-fascist if you support cruel fascist regimes solely because they're anti-West." This post had over 10,000 likes, denoting its influence over the viewing population. And let's take a look at the comments. Right at the top, with 757 likes, is this comment. "It's definitely not anti-fascist to support any of these regimes." Vladimir Putin, Russia. The same Russia that is currently sending life-saving oil to Cuba amid the US blockade, that is currently strangling the Cuban population? Right. Xi Jinping, China. The same China that is sending rice to Cuba to keep people from starving under that US blockade, that is again currently strangling the Cuban population. The same China that has lifted 800 million people out of poverty, that has a near 100% literacy rate, and an 80 to 90% home ownership rate? The Ayatollahs in Iran. Iran, the same Iran that the President of the United States just threatened to genocide in no uncertain terms. The same Iran whose people form human chains to protect critical infrastructure, while your tax dollars fund the bombs falling on the heads of their school children and civilians? Iran, where women represent nearly 70% of university graduates in science and engineering, and where young women have a literacy rate of, you guessed it, nearly 100%. The same Iran whose socialist leader the US overthrew, and then installed a puppet Shah to do the US's bidding? The same Iran who is currently defending the people of Lebanon, who are currently facing genocide from the same two governments who just committed genocide in Gaza in 4K. Again, funded by US tax dollars. Right. Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. The same sovereign leader of Venezuela who the US just kidnapped along with his wife and is currently sitting in a jail in New York City despite that being against US law. The same Venezuela that happens to have the largest oil reserves on the planet, which the warmongering, greedy American oil companies have been salivating over for decades. The same Venezuela that has been a long-time supporter of Palestinian liberation, before most American leftists even knew Palestine existed. Hamas in Gaza. The same Hamas who are the only people standing in between Palestinians and their genocide. The same Hamas who tried again and again to reach peace and ceasefire deals with Israel to only later have those deals violated by Israel. The same Hamas whose Israeli prisoners were singing their praises upon release, while the Israeli Knesset pops champagne to celebrate the passing of a law that allows Israel to execute their nearly 10,000 prisoners, many of whom are children and who have never been convicted of a crime, other than simply being native to their occupied land. The same Hamas who has been forced into a life of resistance by any means necessary, while Western leftists criticize their attempts at survival. But I wouldn't have made this post if it was just one post spouting this nonsense. There was also this one, which reads, "Rare aesthetic. Being a woke person who hated Iran's extremist regime, but also hates Israel and the US, so you low-key just stay silent and pray for the civilians." This take isn't rare at all. In fact, it is the position of most of the woke people whose primary concern is, indeed, aesthetics. And so they knowingly or unknowingly do the work of the State Department by spreading this kind of liberal imperialist propaganda. If only they would actually stay quiet. And finally, though I've seen many, many more, there is this one that says how they are absolutely disgusted with every activist and organization who hasn't spoken out about Iran's regime, which according to them has been annihilating their own people for the past 47 years, with no mention of the 47 years of sanctions imposed by the US government meant to make the ordinary people of Iran suffer. This is why the world sees Western leftists as jokes. You want the people we pay our government to bomb, sanction, starve, exploit, and plunder to be perfect victims. You want to avoid your own complicity, while the genocidal force that is the US, Israel, and our allies moves across an entire region to set up more settler colonies, and not choose a side because you're so woke. Get the fuck out of here. This shit is as ridiculous as talking shit about the people who were fighting the Nazis during World War II. And I use that example on purpose because it's the only war you're even taught about. And even what you know about that war is lies, because I bet you didn't know that it was actually the communists who defeated the Nazis in World War II. And then our government turned those same communists into villains because their very existence threatened their capital. In regards to everything that is taking place in the world right now, there are two sides. The side of the genocidal imperialists, i.e. the US, Israel, and our allies, and the other side, the axis of resistance, and everyone else who is being forced to stand against our military-industrial complex in a fight that is literally for them between dignity or death. Both sides are bad, is and always will be a coward's position.
Peace and Israel are not two words that work together in the same sentence. Following a ceasefire, for them to parade that they've struck Lebanon 100 times in 10 minutes, to bombard Lebanon, kill more kids, more mothers, eradicate more families, target more infrastructure, leaves us once again thinking how this world can tolerate watching these ungodly crimes. Insanity that it is those who criticize this evil, this filth, that find themselves fired, discredited, or jailed. So we're supposed to shut up, bury our heads in the sand until we're next. What more does Israel need to do for this world to wake up? What else? They have set a precedence for the violence allowed and abolished any human values we can abide by. They managed to force us to sit and watch on our phones and end up taking our anger out on one another because we feel this sense of incapacity. For those who blame resistance, resistance is not one group. It is a natural outcome of occupation. You will have the people that fight back, others who want to fall back, and others who give up and leave. But the constant common denominator when it comes to broken ceasefires, killing effective leaders, false flag operations, killing kids has been Israel. We just saw any semblance of peace, any chance of it was answered in the most brutal of ways. We cannot be louder about what they are. It's what we choose to be in the face of this that matters. That also shocks me at times. And seeing a blame game. This is an entity that is able to shoot a child and celebrate it. Those are not people you shake hands with, make deals with, justify for, turn against each other for.
So the energy right now is new moon in Aries, and there's all these planets aligned, okay? There's all this energy. So that's why I've been trying to tap into this energy, but every time I'm about to get in, like I get so extremely tired and like, you know, and my whole, like, I'm having cramps too, which I haven't had those in a while, which is, and again, there's like a sign of wound stealing, like trying to steal sacral chakra energy, abundance as well, because these people lack abundance, okay? So that too, I keep seeing this, like the shark in reverse, like predatory energy. So a lot of you protect yourself from predators energy, cleanse your house, cleanse your door. There's a beautiful lady in my repost and my TikTok. She's teaching how to cleanse your doors, and I thought that was amazing. So go check her out. She's awesome. I've been thinking about, as soon as I'm stable, I want to support and maybe ask her for some tips and stuff like that, and see how we can help her thrive, because healers and truth tellers, teachers, educators, they should have financial cushion to support themselves so that they can continue doing this work. And that's, a lot of us are like, that's what a lot of us, we want to do so much, but it's very difficult. And it's meant to. We're supposed to be dealing with this, but for now, read this book. Very good book. Imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism. This 100-year-old book still explain our endless wars. Read it. Okay, I'm still halfway, and I'm still astonished that it's exactly the same thing that we're dealing right now. Anyways, I was looking into the angel numbers. So a lot of you, this deck kept popping out. So you might see this a lot. So you're gonna see 1221 or 111111 or 111. Okay, and then there is a mirror. So when I opened this one, I was like, oh, 1221. And then when I opened, it was like a mirror, like there's a mirage. Or a lot of you, you're a mirror. So if you are a mirror, please understand that don't take personal what other people are feeling some type of way towards you. This is a mirror energy. It's like you are reflecting what they're not working on. You're reflecting what they need to work on. You're reflecting their inner demons that they don't want to see. Some of them are dealing with anxieties for stuff that they have done in the background that you might know, and they're scared that you know. A lot of you feel very intuitive. Yeah. Anyways, 1221, taking initiative. Okay, so change, optimism, joy, communication, messages, good news, expression, high vibes. Okay, so when you see that 1221, or you see the mirror, which is 2112, so it says up to you. It says up to you. Someone watching over you, good fortune, unforeseen forces, direction. So you're being protected. Oh my God, another mirror. See, good fortune. 888, there's karma to be paid. So a lot of you bring karma. 1010, again. Ooh. So guys, your wish is your command, okay? So if anybody did you wrong or did something, they're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret it, because there's a lot of shit happening, especially for a lot of us who are advocates, right? Or things have happened that, you know, especially my friend I met being in prison right now, a lot of people are like, oh, you see, we got, like, their energy's like, yeah, we got them. Like, this energy does not understand that you just fuck with the right one. Same thing with Greta, same thing with all of them who are speaking the truth, all the journalists. Like, these people are protected not only in the spirit, in the physical, but also in the spirit. So whenever these people fuck with these journalists or the doctor that in London that were trying to imprison like multiple times and stuff like that, they don't get it. They are piling up the karma that is coming, the energy. And then on top of it all, it's like a humiliation ritual that it's just backfiring every time. So they're trying to humiliate Ahmed, they're trying to humiliate all of us. That's what they're trying to do. That's their last tactic, because they are losing. Their narrative is dead. Their bullshit propaganda is dead, is dying, right? So their predatory energy is literally going back to them. Their heavy surveillance shit, like something is going on, like Spirit is going to use a lot of you. Use your energy if you have telekinesis energy, or you have you're able to alter energies. And you know what I mean when I say this, when you're praying or meditating, for example, a lot of you have that prayer energy where you sit down and you say, fuck oligarchs, fuck billionaires, and it literally fucks their life. They're shitting in their pants constantly. They're farting in fucking public places. They're being humiliated. That energy. You trigger energies. For example,
this is your friendly reminder to remind you that anybody defending 62 million views in 1 month of rapists or for the most deprived evil people of what they did to their wives, to their sisters, their mothers, and anybody defending that or excusing that or justifying that they're telling you who they are. Get the fuck away from those people. Yeah. Make sure that you're blocking, make sure that you're creating boundaries because they're telling you that they are okay with raping. Okay? Any man right now, or any women too, there's a lot of women defending this, like, oh, but it's just views. That doesn't mean that there's people view and then they pay $20 to watch men raping their wives. You're making excuses for that? You're the same people who make excuses for genocide. Stay away from those people, guys, for real.
If you have good dharma, for a lot of you, if you've paid your karmic debt and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of you, when you speak to existence, justice, it happens automatically and you're still surprised. Don't be surprised. That's your gift. You use the gift for ending imperialism. We need to end this because it's not good. Okay, a lot of you, we should do a prayer during this weekend. I'm going to try to do it with my clients, which I have to go soon, but I'm going to try to do that. Prayers is really helpful. Protection for the resistance, protection for those who are sailing for the flotilla to end the siege, protection for those who are speaking against genocide, from the protesters, people who are protesting this weekend, the 17th of April, which is the new moon. It was for the prisoners, for the hostages and prisoners in Palestine and those dungeons, prisons that are torture chambers, basically, right? And it has like around 300, 400 kids, children, you know, and if you don't care about that, please go seek help. You need help, okay? That's it. Others of you, if you need more proof, sources, it's all in my link tree, okay? Now, it says which coming true, 11:11. So you're going to see that. So a lot of you start understanding that and believing in yourself. And if you're a writer, if you have the power of manifestation and writing, write those things down. Write what you want. This new moon is about manifestation. It's about claiming, right? So the new moon in Aries is all about fiery dragon energy I'm seeing. So a lot of you, yeah, predators, they can't stand you. This is why it's in reverse, because you're not. So they're threatened by you because you catch these predators and you expose them and how you're supposed to. A lot of you have different roles. You're supposed to be dealing with tech, motherfucker, evil, demonic energy, genocidal, fucked up, techno, whatever. Techno or tech. You know who they are. Others of you is banking system. Others of you it's landlords. Others of you is creative theft with AI or something like that. I just heard. Like you have different sections, and then the ICE helping people who are being abducted by ICE and kidnapping, human trafficking. That is human trafficking. What ICE is doing is human trafficking. People in lawmaking, things like that. Like a lot of you have different sections, and there's different groups. Okay, join those groups. Join each other together. That's what Spirit is asking a lot of you. Join together, and this wish will come true, and that initiative needs to be, that change needs to be constant. Okay, also Spirit wants you to focus. Resistance is joy, resistance is love, resistance is good communication, resistance is giving the right information and showing also when it's the false information. And the expression of high vibes is not just like oh, peace and love, and not looking at what's going on in the world and just focus on my own thing. No, high vibes is actually exposing the corruption. That is high vibe. Not staying silent because it's comfortable, because oh, I'm scared that I'm gonna lose my job, I'm scared I'm gonna lose this, blah 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 blah. We all losing something while we do this work. It's just that a lot of us, we need to recover after we do that. So that's why for all of us it takes us a long time to come back here after we say what we need to say. So just saying.
100 strikes on 100 civilian locations Israel just launched on Lebanon. And this came right after a so-called 2-week pause. So what kind of pause is this when civilians are still being bombed? And let's be honest about what this looks like. A show of force and an attempt to save face after the shockwave of the US-Israeli confrontation with Iran. After criticism, after failure, and after gap between what was promised and what actually happened. Because all this became impossible to hide. They sold fantasies of domination, regime change, total control. Instead, they exposed a destruction, instability, and massive human and economic cost, then dragged the whole entire region deeper into it.
Reports talking about the widest attack against Lebanon since 1982. Israel has just bombed Beirut more than 100 times in 10 minutes. And the Lebanese Ministry of Health is talking about hundreds between missing, killed, and injured. This is coming only hours after a serious talks about ceasefire started in Iran. We are on front of a new campaign against Lebanon launched under the title The Eternal Darkness, shamelessly bragging about bringing darkness to a whole population. We are between a genocidal state calling this eternal darkness and the US president talking about the annihilation of a whole civilization in Iran. Everything locates here. They don't respect the existence of a human being. These are genocidals that love to kill people, that live over blood. We all know that Israel does not want any negotiations, does not want any peace in the area, because Israel want to bring the whole area to the hell so Israel can expand and can fuel its colonial project. That's it. That's why Israel is, that's the most dangerous time in the previous 3 years, because Israel now is trying to shatter all the enemies, all of its enemies. Gaza is away from Lebanon, is away from Iran, is away from Iraq, from Yemen, from Syria. So it can stop here, kill there, then pause here, get back to kill there. This is what is happening in Gaza so far. It happened in Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, and now getting back to Lebanon. Israel does not want peace, and Israel needs to be stopped. Israel needs to be boycotted by your governments, by your countries. Israel needs to be isolated. This can cost Israel enough. So anything can stop Israel from murdering more people. Launching the Eternal Darkness campaign is like a slap on our faces. After being like happy, celebrating the ceasefire talks, here it is again. Israel said it out loud. We don't want to include Lebanon in the ceasefire. We're going to launch more campaigns and kill more people in Lebanon. And by the way, Israel now expanded its operational area from south to Litani River to south to Zuhrani level, which is to the north of the Litani. Israel is making its buffer zone on more than 20% of Lebanon's area.
The history of Lebanon in 3 minutes. Breaking news, Israel just launched 100 airstrikes into Lebanon in just 10 minutes. They killed hundreds of civilians and wounded thousands. This was almost immediately after they announced a 2-week ceasefire, but the world keeps on forgetting that Israel has absolutely no respect for international law nor human life. Israel is on a genocidal march. We are seeing the same methods that have been used in Gaza since October 7th. Collective punishment and indiscriminate attacks where whole communities are either displaced or massacred. We have to remember that this isn't new. Since 1948, Israel has led a continuous assault against the Lebanese people with decades of massacres, occupation, and displacement. For over 75 years, Lebanese families have been burying their children who have been martyred by Israel. In 1948, Zionist forces entered the village of Hula in South Lebanon and massacred 93 civilians in just 1 day, and continued to attack and raid Lebanese villages. In 1967, Israel began their occupation of Sheb'a farms, which they're still occupying today, demolishing homes and displacing families. In 1968, Israel literally raided the Beirut airport and destroyed 13 civilian planes in the heart of the capital and left without a single consequence. In 1978 and 1982, Israel launched a full-scale invasion of Lebanon and put Beirut under siege. It was during that time that Israel orchestrated one of the most horrendous massacres in the Sabra and Shatila refugee camps, with a death toll of over 3,500 Palestinian and Lebanese civilians. The IDF flooded South Lebanon and strayed. For 18 years, they occupied South Lebanon, bombed it, controlled it, and in the year 2000, it was the resistance of Southern Lebanon that fought back and liberated their land. Then in year 2006, more bombs, more death, and more destruction. Thousands of Lebanese civilians killed and wounded, and just when Lebanon was rebuilding, again, 2023 hits, and this time, the scale of destruction is unlike anything we have seen before. Entire neighborhoods erased, whole communities displaced. This is a clear pattern of genocide. It has been repeated and documented since 1948, decades before resistance groups like Hezbollah even existed. This isn't a case of Israeli self-defense. The world has had enough of this pathetic excuse. The Lebanese people deserve to live, to stay, and to exist in their homes and on their land without fear. And if history can tell us anything, it's that the brutality of Israel can only be matched by the strength, resilience, and perseverance of our brothers and sisters in Lebanon. Palestine's struggle and Lebanon's struggle is one in the same, and together we will see a total liberation, inshallah.
I don't think people really understand the magnitude of 100 airstrikes in 10 minutes on a country that is 135 miles long from top to bottom, by the way. They are flattening buildings full of innocent people, civilians that have nothing to do with the war, nothing to do with the conflict at all. Gone. No evacuations, no warnings, no nothing. This is called indiscriminate bombings. This is exactly what they did in Gaza, and they literally told us to our faces they're going to use the same blueprint in Lebanon too. Okay, so repeat after me. Israel is the world's largest terrorist organization. There's no way around it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They are actively deleting people off the face of the fucking planet so that they can steal that land and make it part of the greater Israel project. Oh, we're just fighting terrorism. We're just getting rid of Hezbollah. Then why are we killing innocent people? They're playing in your face. They're playing right in your face.
There is no moral difference between your life and an Iranian's or a Palestinian's or a Lebanese person's, right? Like, the only reason why, if you live in the West, your life is much less violent than theirs are is because of geographical luck. Because you happen to exist as the beneficiary of imperialism and they happen to exist as its targets. And I hope people understand the weight of this, especially as we see things as the United States president going out and saying it's fine for us to target civilian infrastructure in Iran because they're animals. He can say things like that and experience little to no pushback, and people can go on mainstream news and justify the targeting of Iran's civilian infrastructure, knowing it will lead to countless deaths, because it has already been decided that the people who US-funded bombs fall on, their lives are just worth less. This carefully maintained lie about some moral difference between your life and someone who's halfway across the world from you is the reason why every time we get into one of these stupid wars of aggression, the first thing you start to hear about is like gas prices or something like that. Or how much suffering and death is happening to US soldiers. Oh my god, our poor Americans coming back in body bags. But at the end of the day, it's not true. Your life is not worth more than the victims of US imperialism. In fact, one Iranian schoolgirl is worth so much more than any of the child killers, either blindly or fanatically following orders and releasing death from the skies above her. And the fact that this world does not recognize that is backward, barbaric, and monstrous.
I've also used statements by whistleblowers who have been collected in Israel. And when you put together, I mean, they totally corroborate what Palestinian former detainees and their lawyers say. But again, it cannot be reduced to one man or one person only, because as I document throughout my report, there is an entire nation that was aware the torture was inflicted. There are doctors who have seen the signs of torture. There are doctors who have supervised the fact that while detained, these people were severely abused and raped.
Are we seeing the beginning of a revolution comparable to, say, France in the 1700s? Now, just in the last few days, one guy torched a whole Amazon warehouse, clearly stating, pay your workers a living wage. Just destroyed the whole thing. Also, a man threw a Molotov cocktail at Sam Altman's house, the head of OpenAI. Now, I think everybody remembers Luigi Mangione, say, removing a healthcare CEO. Now, the wealth inequality in America is now worse than it was pre-French Revolution. And that is factoring in slavery, too. And look what happened. The right things happened then, right? This is to be expected, okay? Of course it is. Capitalism has failed because there are no checks on it. And because of that, these few people at the top are taking everything from everybody at the bottom. People are fed up. The people at the top, they are very skilled at convincing all the rest of us that we are the problem. Prices are too high, you can't find a job, all this. It's the immigrants. It's your own fault. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That only lasts so long. I think it's fine when people steal groceries. Yeah, why not? I don't give a shit, man. And then people are like, oh, it makes it more expensive for the rest of us. No, the fucking tycoons who run the grocery chains make it more expensive for the rest of us. They say, oh, well, you know, the inflation from COVID made all the prices skyrocket, what, 600%? Like, you look at some of these items and the prices are unbelievable. There is a revolution coming. There has to be. The scales need to balance. People are starting to understand that it's not just governments who have their fucking boot on the neck. It's the corporations. It's the capitalists. It's the enshittification of everything that we consume. And who's to blame for that? It's the fuckers at the top who are saying we must have our billions and our bunkers and our low taxes, because otherwise, how are we going to pay you your wages? Your wages that are like 1/1000th of these fucking people. Okay? So is there a revolution coming? Yep. Yeah, of course there is. Because these people are making it worse. It used to be like the top 10% owned all of the wealth. And then it was the top 1%. And now it's the 0.01 own all of the wealth. Soon they're going to be trillionaires. What do they expect to happen? Their safety should not be guaranteed, these people, because you can only push people so far until there is backlash. So is there a revolution coming? Yeah. Is it warranted? Of course. Like, what do they expect? They're pushing people to the brink, and I welcome it. What are your thoughts?
When people died from flooding in China, that number was added to the death toll of communism. But when people die from poverty in the West, that's just because they didn't work hard enough. This myth of 100 million came from the Black Book of Communism, where they attributed every death within a communist state's existence to communism itself. A book with no empirical data that has not only been debunked by capitalist scholars, but by the co-authors themselves, where the causes of death are so broad you can't possibly blame them on a system. One of the most absurd inclusions is the hypothetical number of people that could have been conceived had women not joined the workforce. People that never even existed are included in a death toll? And the most outrageous inclusion is counting both the Soviets who died fighting Nazis and the Nazi soldiers themselves who were killed. Like, sure, Nazis were victims of communism, but that's a good thing? Any good Marxist-Leninist will admit that there were real mistakes, some with tragic consequences, but that doesn't mean we're going to accept outright lies about the people who were trying to make the world better. And whether or not you agree with communism, both the Soviet Union and China went from impoverished societies to global superpowers in just decades, without centuries of colonialism or slavery to help them get there. But if we do grant the 100 million just for argument's sake, then let's apply the same logic to capitalism. And if we did that, we would have to include every death from preventable diseases, every person who dies because they can't afford healthcare or housing, every death from hunger in a world that produces more than enough food, every single person that died from slavery, from colonization. The countless genocides of indigenous peoples alone surpasses 100 million deaths easily. And we haven't even mentioned any of the wars yet. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Palestine, both world wars, and 2 atomic bombs, all due to capitalism. If I listed everything, you would be watching this video for weeks, because capitalism has always been a system that sustains itself on human suffering. History has been altered by those who stand to benefit from capitalism's continued existence. They want to hide the truth that communism has been the biggest force for human liberation in history. The next time someone says communism killed 100 million, ask them one question: according to who? And if this myth is the only thing stopping you from considering communism as a viable alternative to the dystopian capitalist hellhole we're living in, then it's probably time that you learned real history.
Did you know that being racist against minorities makes you statistically dumber than the rest of the population? And there's actually science to back this up. So in the early 2000s, there was a study done at Dartmouth, and the researchers wanted to see what the brain did, what parts of the brain did when white people were interacting with black people. So they hired on a bunch of white participants and had them interact with a black person to see what would happen. First, they gave every white participant an implicit association test to categorize them from the highest bias against minorities to the lowest bias against minorities, and then had them jump in an fMRI machine to see what their brain was doing during this interaction. After this conversation, every white participant had to do what's called a Stroop test. Essentially, you name a color that is written out on the paper, but it's a different color, so it makes your brain work twice as hard to figure out what color it is. It seems easy, right? A lot of the racist ones failed the test of naming the correct color, and or that took them 10 times longer. And when they looked at the scientific data for the high racially biased people, they discovered that their prefrontal cortex had a significant drop in activity. That center is specifically responsible for top-down control of your brain to perform everyday tasks and your impulse control. The most interesting part of this, though, was their data showed that their amygdala was overreacting. The amygdala is the fear center. They were afraid. They're scared. So statistically speaking, if you're racist against minorities, you're dumber than the rest of us. Your brain doesn't work correctly. How about that?
You are a Zionist if you are not for and in support of the complete dissolution of Israel as a state. Not simply a ceasefire, not a two-state solution. They have the two-state solution right now. It's not working. Complete dissolution and dissolving of Israel as a state. Otherwise, you're a Zionist, and you're pro-apartheid, racism, genocide.
It is their problem. It is a Jewish people problem. Until Jewish people en masse come out and condemn what Israel has done in Gaza for the last almost 3 years, what they're currently doing in Lebanon, until synagogues condemn Israel, condemn the genocide, until Jewish schools stop teaching Zionism as a part of their curriculum. Until that happens, this is a Jewish problem. You can no longer separate Zionism and Judaism when IOF soldiers are literally carving the Star of David into Palestinian prisoners' backs, when they're spray painting the Star of David inside of Palestinians' homes that they've destroyed, that they've stolen. If this genocide, if this terrorist state does not represent Judaism, prove it.
Still hear people blaming the poverty of the global south on corruption or incompetence. That's like someone breaking into your house, taking your oven, and then saying it's a skill issue that you don't have dinner ready. People act like colonialism's ancient history, but it's not. Namibia only gained independence in 1990, and when a lot of countries finally gained their freedom, they were actually handed countries with economies designed for extraction, borders drawn to cause civil wars, and massive debts incurred by the very colonizers. Haiti were forced to pay France for 122 years to compensate slave owners for lost lost property. We're told the global south is catching up thanks to Western development and aid, but the math says otherwise. In 1960, the income gap between the richest and the poorest countries was 32-1. After 40 years of aid, the gap quadrupled to 134-1. Development is not a story of the south catching up. It's a story of the north staying ahead by keeping labor and resources cheap. For every $1 of aid the global south receives, they lose 14 in debt payments and big corporations illegally moving profits out of the country. Workers in the global south do over 80% of the physical work for the world's clothes and electronics, yet they only get about 5% of the final retail price. Before colonialism, people weren't poor. Most lived in subsistence economies with more than enough land and water. They didn't have money because they didn't need it. No one was rescued from poverty. Poverty was created, forcing people into mines and factories. In India alone, British rule resulted in 100 million premature deaths, a systematic killing larger than the famines of the USSR, Maoist China, and Cambodia. It's not a resource problem, it's a distribution problem. We could end poverty tomorrow by canceling unpayable debts, democratizing the World Bank and IMF, and stopping the illegal flight of capital. It's not actually hard to do, it's just that 1% of the world's population owns 50% of its wealth and refuses to let go. Stop blaming the person in the empty house and start looking at the real culprit. Shout out Jason Hakel, I referenced a lot of his work here.
Okay, last but not least, is a moderation, right? Everything with moderation. So it says moderation, patient flowing, self-realization. So there's a lot of that. A lot of you trigger that on people. And again, the system motherfucking hates that, right? Because self-realization is where the decolonization is. And this is where that trigger, that seed starts. And then that's where people start educating themselves, start doing things. I've seen it, guys. I've seen people from Zionists to turn into anti-Zionists, literally within with the right education, with the right knowledge, and not like fucking attack and shit like that. Although they love to be violent and attack you, so a lot of you have to be peaceful. Not really. No, you don't need to do no. A lot of you, they're gonna try to put in like in your it's your imagination and stuff like that. Like, but a lot of you is like they're trying to trap a lot of you to not think to take care of yourself and love yourself. There's that energy here. Okay, a lot of you, they want a lot of desensitize. Okay, a lot of desensitization. Okay, get away taking action. So a lot of you, there's that action energy. Okay, and a lot of it is happening in spirit too before it happens, right? So this is why spirit is letting you know, like, there's variety, fantasy, mind, like a lot of mind work that needs to be done before you do what they gotta do. And it says here, it says victim, allure, trick. So a lot of you, that's what it is. It's like they're trying to trick you or something, or trap you in thinking that loving yourself or taking care of others or stuff like that, like it's not good, but it's not working. It says self-concern, self-healing, independence. So they want you guys to continue be dependent on them. And like doing multiple things so that you don't focus on the things that you need to do. This is a strategy. This is white supremacy strategy. Never forget that. Okay? You're in for a lucky break. And this is not a woo-woo thing. This is a lucky break for those who are doing the work and you're being consistent and persistent. Okay? Especially those who have to deal with legal situations, justice and stuff like that. I see that here. Okay? Also, there's gonna be someone, like spirit keeps showing me, like whoever did this or try to like silence this journalist and stuff like that, like they're gonna have a huge rude awakening. They're having dreams already. They are seeing that something is gonna be not here anymore. Yeah, it's true. This is your confirmation, motherfucker. You're not gonna get away. Like, here is where the justice happens. And a lot of us, you are the message. You are the karma. So Ahmed is the karma in whatever he is in this prison. He's bringing this to everyone who try to go against him. Just saying, please sign the petition to set him free. People who are speaking the truth should not be in jail, especially if they have their credentials in journalism and they've been doing this for years. At the end of the day, that's just confirmation for a lot of y'all that he's in the right track, and then he's catching a lot of predator war criminals. He's exposing them. Like, literally, pedophiles and war criminals are free, while the people who are speaking the truth are like, that doesn't make any sense, right? It's the point. This is why we're telling you that you have to speak up, and then silence is complicity. It may come as a happy news, experience, new opportunities, or an exciting acquaintance. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. It is not coincident, but a gift from fate. I know a lot of you don't believe in that stuff. I get it. The angels are speaking to a lot of you. Unique skills. You have unique skills that you're supposed to be using. Why aren't you using it? Are you overtired? Are you overworking? And I get it. We have bills to pay, and everything's increasing. The food is increasing. The everything. I understand. This is something that I used to do without the necessity. Like I was okay before, but now it's like impossible to continue doing this work, which I know is intentional. But don't worry, we're made up for this. But in the meantime, we still have to voice this out. There is an injustice. We should not be using food or housing as a form of blackmailing people to keep them quiet from exposing their corruption and how these people make money. Because at the end of the day, these people are lazy as fuck. Colonizers are the worst, like the most laziest motherfucking people, okay? Like for real. But they love to project to other people of color that they're lazy. Look, they like to point out things that, again, projection. This is what they're good at, okay? Now, once you're awake, right? Once you are in that energy of anti-racism and you want white supremacy gone, and you want land back for indigenous people, you want retribution for the black community to get all that was stolen from them, from slavery, from all these massacres that happened in the past, right? All these wars, all those wars that I'm reading, I'm like, that requires, and that too, it was just so funny. Like, it says that people in the past were asking for retribution, right? And these are the same people who asked for retribution from one of their genocides that they survived. And now they're the one doing the genocide. And then calling themselves a religion that they don't even practice. But because it benefits them, but because they think it looks good, but it's not anymore. That's why they're ready for a rude awakening very soon, okay? Now, a lot of you, what I talked about the other day about this jealous energy is still lingering, jealous, envious energy, okay? Because you have the unique skills that they don't have. And how they acquire money, it's not with integrity, it's not with morals. And a lot of you have gained your finances through these unique skills that you're constantly enhancing and working on, okay? And it's not just like skills like external, it's also internal, the work that you have done internally. So that matters a lot, especially in spirit. Remember that. Life goals, mission, sense of self, honesty, importance, project. Remember this. Stay in an honesty energy. Even if it makes you or anyone uncomfortable, stick to the honesty. You will never go wrong, and you will never stick to the truth, and clarity. That is resistance and revolutionary energy. Never forget that. It is that time of intense self-development. Focus your mind on your craft. You already have what it takes to succeed, but practice makes you a master. And you're gonna have resistance from the opposite, from demonic, diabolical people, that they don't want you to master the skill because they don't have any skills. They don't know how to master shit. The only thing that they learn how to master is diabolical, lying, corruption, and doing fucked up shit to people that they're jealous and envious about. Especially if you're someone like humble and working class, and these people have everything. They have everything, but also they feel this power control tripping, like they need to be controlling people and stuff like that. So be aware of that. It also serves to find your true purpose. Leveling up in your career or business is of priority right now. Ladies, I don't know what you're doing, if you're single or I don't give a fuck. Focus on your finances right now. You need to have money not only to defend yourself, not only to financially protect yourself, okay, from predators, okay? So that's my advice. Focus on finances, and also that too, you're able to, a lot of you, I see it. You want to not only have money to pay your rent, pay whatever you sustain your families and stuff like that, but also you want to contribute. You want to be a monthly donor to those families and gas. I see it. We're the same. You want to pay creators and journalists. You want to help people who are in prison. You know that they're innocent, so you want to get them out. I get it. They know it. Learn how to protect yourself if you're in this energy, okay? And don't be naive. Because at the end of the day, they know that you're here to put the end to all the predatory, all the pedophilia, all the raping energy. They're watching you. So give them a good show. Okay?
It says, I hate everything about you by 3 days grace. Back at you, boo. Okay, so what I'm getting is that the energy of hate, it's an energy where this person or people called whatever, they're projecting everything that is, they're trying to target, it's kind of like attacking or targeting. Again, this comes from a jealous, insecure, and very corrupt and rotten, evil energy, okay? So they hate everything about you that is truthful, that is courageous, that is everything that you can possibly imagine that they will never be, they hate that about you. Please understand this is how racists and white supremacists also work. So I'm speaking also maybe in a minuscule of some of the collective people that you have to deal with, either a friend, an ex, or something like that. But you also have to also understand that this is a collective also, where in a collective sense, because they're not the majority, at the end of the day, I know it for a fact. Spirit keeps telling me that their humanity is bigger. They don't like the propaganda, the media. Humanity has more empathy than motherfucking racists and pedophiles and fucking disgusting war criminals. You also have to understand that the propaganda, half of the earnings of these weapon machines and fossil fuel companies and politicians who are making money of a genocide and fossil fuel shit and billionaires right now, you also have to understand that part of their earnings is to fuck with your mind through media. That's what propaganda is made from a capitalist standpoint. Capitalism and colonialism, they work together because we have enabled abuse for that long. We are not putting sanctions where it needs to be sanctions. Like, I was looking at all the sanctions that USA has put, and I was like, wait, but these are the countries that should have sanctioned the US or Israel and stuff like that. Like, all this shit that is happening is all projection. You have to understand that evil motherfuckers, cowards, that will project, and if they have the power, of course, abuse of power, that's their main focus. Abuse of power, okay? So you also have to understand their game so you can play it better than them. Do you understand? So being anti-racist and anti-Zionist makes you a better ahead, and also spirit protects you. And not only spirit, there's your archangel, there's the resistance. Anywhere in the fucking world where resistance is is self-righteous. And that's why spirit keeps saying resistance is divine, because only motherfucking divine people can do what we're doing, which is exposing the fucking truth to you in a system that wants to kill you and me and everybody else who speaks the truth. Do you understand? Now, I hate everything about you. If you stand up to truth and you have integrity, and you have courage, even though, and you're seeing other people who could be doing the exact same thing as you, but they're not doing it. They're just focusing on other things, distracting other people, getting paid by Zionist motherfucking evil doers and doing weird ass shit. Capitalists, right? Like, they want to continue their profiting, and oh well, that's not my problem, that's over there, you know. So these people also hate everything about you, okay? So 333 can be significant, okay? You also have to understand that a lot of people who have Christ consciousness, you have to understand this, okay? Keep this as your key, your pocket key, okay? When you stand up to evil, you stand up to the status quo in the system is corrupt. It's working for them, but it's not working for the working class, and that's why you gotta continue resisting, okay? Do not let these people make you think that you should not, like literally, like you should, there's nothing better than capitalism. Fuck off. Fuck off. There is, and it exists. And stop letting them propaganda, because I'm telling you, when you like deprogram yourself and you don't let these people abuse you with through my media or propaganda, you not, you know, unconsciously, you know, helping the fucking beast, you know what I'm saying? So there's people, for example, he keeps pointing at me that people in the spiritual community, they fucking hate everything I do here. They hate that I do that, but they don't want to do it. They don't do it. Oh no, I have too much to lose, bitch. What, do you don't think I have nothing, motherfucking, like, what the fuck? And I've been losing, sacrificing everything, and we're still doing it. They hate that about you. Your courage, your energy, your healing energy. If you're a fucking tarot reader, and you're reading like a motherfucker, and you catch motherfucking pedophiles and billionaires every time, they hate your energy. They just want to be you, but they don't want to do the work. So these are people who want to have your energy, who wish and jealous and envious of your energy, but they cannot handle it. They will not handle it. Now, for a lot of you who are in the resistance, the truth tellers and stuff like that, understand that liars you cannot be in the same room as liars. And you need to be okay with that. You need to be creating boundaries with liars. If you are anti-racist, you need to create boundaries with racist people. If you are someone of color and you're surrounded in a working place with people who don't respect you or don't value you and stuff like that, get the fuck off. Find something else. I know it's so easier said than done. I know this. Trust. Oh my God. Spirit keeps saying that international law and laws and regulations is to protect the working class, is to protect yourself. It's a boundary. And they're trying to disrespect that boundary by violating it, by literally creating an appeal so that you don't reappeal a fucking disgusting Bill C9. It's a fucking racist fucking thing. I don't give a shit what you all got to say, you fucking pieces of shit. It's to protect their own white supremacist, Jewish white supremacist Zionists. It's to protect themselves. It has nothing to do with all of y'all. Because it's already coming. What's coming for them, it's coming. And they think that they can hide. They think they can hide here in Canada. That's what's going on. They're trying to hide here. They have built an entire colony or something, or community and stuff like that. And they call themselves Jew, but they're not. Their flags, everything is everywhere. All the schools here, the Jewish white supremacist school is full of like fucking Israel flags and shit like that. Yeah. A lot of you're just like, oh, that's not, no, it's not normal. It's not normal. Is it normal what they're doing in Palestine and Gaza and now Lebanon? And they want you guys not to see it. Please look at my Telegram. I spend hours and some days that's why I had to take breaks, because it's like crazy. Like, what the fuck? But also I've had work to do outside of this atmosphere, which a lot of you just asking you, please send an email to your MP. Please send this. Please come to the protest. Please boycott. Like, fuck. How many times do we have to guys tell you, like, please help us out here so that we can help you too? It's for you too. Coño. No wonder indigenous and black people just get tired of all of y'all, fuck. For real. You like to living in a place where it's full of fucking racist motherfucker pedophiles and criminals? Okay, that's on you. Go somewhere else. Go to fucking Mars. We don't want that on this planet. And that's it. International law needs to be respected. It's a boundary. And we need to stand up for that. Everyone. Canada, USA, Germany, Australia, all you motherfucking white motherfuckers. Yeah. You need to take your privilege. And yeah, that's what you gotta do. Because a lot of us, that's it. That's it. We just told you what's up. Stand up for other people. Stand up for the oppressed. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say. Spiritually, magically, financially, whatever you want to say. Create protection. Internationalized protection. We need to respect that. Zionist motherfucking racist demons have to respect that. Anybody else who doesn't respect that, get the fuck out of here. Out of the way. Oh, and don't worry. If you're not out of the way or us get you out of the way, the universe will take care of it. It already is. So, fair warning. It's not going to be you being racist and a pedophile and a fucking Nazi. It's not. Your Zionist anti-Semitism shit, it's not going to cover you. Sorry, I need to be specific in the context of what's going on. I'm speaking with the fake Jewish people. Your white supremacy motherfucking shit, it's not going to work. Okay? I'm speaking with the Christians, white supremacy motherfuckers. Your Zionist shit, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not. All right. So now, the point of all this that I'm saying is that they are trying to, through laws and stuff like that, not only cross the boundaries of other people who don't want nothing to do with them. Like a lot of you, you're completely like, I don't speak to you. I keep you in silent, ghosted, blocked. I don't give a shit. Everybody who's a fucking weird ass energy, you're not. Now they're getting mad that you're being hateful towards them, or they acting like a victim, like, oh, they don't want to talk, or they don't want to blah, 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 or that you don't want to deal with them. You don't want to reason with people who are not only jealous, right? You don't reason with jealous people. You don't reason with racist people either. With Zionists, see, they don't want me to tell you guys this because it's the truth. Every time you speak the truth, this energy does not want you guys to know this. Doesn't want you guys to learn how to take your self-respect back, how to take your sovereignty back, how to take your energy back. Because that's what we're teaching here. They don't like it. They want to continue consuming and siphoning your energy and stealing from all of you. And we see all the injustices. That's another thing. A lot of you, you're frustrated, and so I feel it, okay? You're not alone. You're feeling this frustration, watching these fucking pieces of shit gaslight you and the media and all that stuff, make you question your reality, that what you're seeing in independent sources, and you're watching like literally from the source, from the people, documenting their own genocide, right? And what they have to do to get to Wi-Fi, to get to the internet, to get to a lot of you too, so that you have that information, so that you help them, the evil motherfuckers, stop those motherfuckers. We're still doing this, trying to make it stop. Sanche motherfucking Israel. I don't know how many times we're saying this, but that's what it is. It took 77 years. Now we understand it. For all of you who just got here, yeah, right? You're like, wait. What the fuck? You thought that a year from now this will be... Yeah. This is the Palestinians. Well, this is what they've been dealing with. And now they want all of us to deal with the Palestinians have been dealing, because Palestine was just a limit test. It was just a test. And what a lot of you decided to stay quiet and not say anything and thinking that it's not going to happen to you, my friend. You're not my friend, though. You will not stand up. Like, for my friends are speaking up and not... And if they're not speaking up here, they're working in the background, which is okay too. You do what you got to do, right? For the oppressed. Doesn't matter. Any means necessary. I don't give a fuck. But you see how the oppressors have used our words so that they look like the good guys. So they look like, oh no, they're attacking us, so that they can continue the violence. So they can continue. And then they expect us just to take the abuse. That's slavery. Isn't it? A lot of you don't understand because you don't know what is to be in this side of the oppressed, right? You've been the oppressor ever, forever, whatever benefits you and your family or whatever, right? You don't know what it is to be in the shoes of someone who is in Cuba, for example. How they survive. You don't know what is to put yourself in the shoes of a black woman. Of a woman in general, because women are constantly motherfucking oppressed, except the white people, white women. Let's just keep it for real, please. You are used as a tool for the fucking capitalism beast. You know it. And my queens who know it too, they take their motherfucking privilege and show all your white motherfucking bitches how is to get it done. And most of them are motherfucking amazing fucking witches. Please, if you were karmic before, and you were doing spell work on shit like that to your motherfucking ex or some fucking guy who doesn't want to fuck you but wants to fuck another chick, please, we need you. I need you. We need you. Please. There's a couple pictures of Ford's billionaires that I need you to take those pictures, and I need you to do what you know what you did to your whatever this guy is, right? And you've seen that it worked, right? Because he's in a low vibration. He's just karmic just as you, right? Please use your powers for actually something contribute to society. Maybe, just maybe, the universe or God will forgive your all the shit that you've been doing that you know you shouldn't be doing, right? Especially attacking real divine people, truth tellers and stuff like that, because you're jealous and envious of them, or you're jealous of that chick that this guy keeps constantly dreaming and thinking about but doesn't want nothing to do with you. Yeah, we need you to put that energy towards the oligarchs and billionaires, not the chosen one, because that's gonna curse you, mija. Mijo, because this guy who do it too. I know, I see you. I catch you all the time in my readings, huh? Watching readings to see if your shit is working, right? I'm just saying, if you want redemption and you don't want to end up like the oligarch billionaire curse and purgatory and hellfire, Father God has given you, Father God or divine, has given you a chance. Same thing for the military, same thing for the police people. They have a chance. They have to be in reverse against the oppressor. They have to go against the evil. They have to go against even their own demons. Yeah, that's difficult. Yeah. That's what he's saying. And people, that's what I told you. I have that dream prophecy and he keeps saying it's going to happen. Oligarchs and billionaires and weapon companies and politicians, this is why they pay so much and try to privatize and all this shit. They're trying so hard. And these motherfuckers, they fall for it because they're all criminals too. They're criminals, they're fucking pedophiles, rapists and stuff like that. In charge of detention centers. And all of a sudden, all these little girls just randomly came out positive pregnant. How does it someone came out positive pregnant? There's no redemption for the wicked, that's for sure. People who rape people, that's what matriarchy was. In the past, I know it. I feel it. I don't have sources because I know it was race. But I know in matriarchy societies, there was no rapists or pedophiles because matriarchy society, the number one rule, it was to cut that off. If they ever tried with a little girl or little boy or a woman or anybody. This is what we're doing. This is why we're saying that we have to change the system of patriarchy and capitalism and colonialism, because that is what is entailed. Is genocide, pedophilia, is raping, is controlling, manipulating. That's how they rape themselves to the top. That's what billion and colonization is. That's what it is. Confirmation. That's what it is. A lot of you don't want to see. Yes, read the history. Yeah, that's it. Killing, bombing, all these horrible things. And now we're saying we have to change. Now that matriarchy is like, oh, women are power. No. Everyone. Protection for children. Protection for women. Redistribution. Justice. Equality. For everyone. There's a lot of work. And a lot of you just like, you want to stay comfortable. Okay. While the other people steal from you, take from you, and then you start blaming your own community, your own people, instead of looking at the landlords who are increasing the rent right now and they should not. There was a law here in Canada where it used to be put a cap on them so that they don't do this. A lot of people, tenants, you need to be revolting. They should not be increasing the rent right now. The gas is going up. How is that even how? Think about it. The wealthiest people raising the rent right now, knowing that you guys can't afford it. They know it. And a lot of you're okay with that? Okay, well, I'm not. And a lot of people in my community are not. So we're just going to continue fighting and we're going to continue exposing it. Please make sure that you're looking into your own countries and your own cities so that you can also create boundaries and a lot of you got spirit put you in those specific places is because you're supposed to dismantle certain things and expose certain cockroaches and pigs and shit like that. I already did my duty. I'm going to continue doing my duty, but a lot of you can do your own research as well, just as me. You can talk about it as well and demand that you condemn this, that you don't want Zionism in your neighborhood, or you don't want racist and white supremacists. Yeah, it's a disease. It's like a cancer, and you need to block. You need to be that cell to block it, and they know it. That's why the government and all of that. Yeah, because they're all in it. Sex trafficking, human trafficking, all that. It's a business. Weapon is a business. Bombs is a business. Capitalism endorses all that. We need to refuse and reject that completely. Are you ready for that? Welcome to Earth School. That's being woke. Are you ready? It is courage that they hate from you. So keep being courageous. Do it even more now. And eat that hate for breakfast.